Welcome to this week's episode of Inside Oriel, in association with our main club sponsors, BetRegal. Delighted to say I'm joined on the sofa for the first time by Hayden Muller. Hayden, thanks for joining me.
Nice to be here.
Boy from South London.
Yeah.
How are you finding Dundalk? You can be honest now. You have to be honest on the sofa.
Yeah, it's a lot different to Croydon.
Yeah.
No, I've settled in really well. I've been here 4 months now.
Yeah.
Coming up to 4 months. It's been really good so far. Yeah.
You say it's different to Croydon. It's obviously not a big city. It's a small, relatively small town. But have you got the grips with it and found places you like?
Yeah, it's small enough. So obviously, I'm living with Greg and John, who have been here for long enough as well. So that's obviously helped me find my way around. And after a month or so, I know exactly where to go. All the good places, all the good restaurants and things like that. Yeah.
I was saying to you beforehand, there's rumours that you're frequently in the snooker club down there at the end.
Yeah, it's actually been one of my hobbies since I've been here. I've been there a few times, beating Greg, beating John. But I just need to practice Paul a bit more.
Who'd be the best now? Who's the best player?
Apparently Pat, but I haven't played him. Pat's supposed to be really good. But
Pat's actually took part in local
what's he not good
at? Exactly. You can imagine the moaning there.
Yeah,
but he's losing. South London, so Croydon. I'm sure. I don't know whether you get asked now because there's a couple of lads from London here, but anytime an Irish person goes abroad, it's like, do you know such and such from... It might be 4 hours away, but do you get asked if you know any of the lads, even though they're from different parts of London?
Yeah. Quite a lot, actually. Every day. That's all you get asked. Yeah.
You wouldn't have known any of them, obviously.
I didn't know any of them.
So let's see, where was Aries from?
Waz is from Peckham, but I didn't actually know Waz, obviously, until I come over here. And obviously I know the area of Peckham, but I didn't know Waz.
So Croydon to Peckham, how far is that?
Probably about 20 minutes from each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're the closest one, would he?
Waz is probably the closest one. Then actually Louis from Sutton, which is 10 minutes from Croydon.
Right, okay.
So Louis would have been the closest one, but I didn't know him either until I come over here, which is weird because we're very close together.
Alfie's where?
Alfie's East London, which is about 45 minutes from me. Yeah, I know. Obviously, he played for West Ham when he's grown up, but he's a bit older than me, so I didn't actually play against him.
Is it nice having lads from?
Obviously.
Does it make any difference?
No, I think it does. People it is better having lads from London because moving to a new country and things like that. It is nice to have some lads from where I've grown up. It makes it easier to settle in.
Yeah. It is a big decision to move country, and I know people say you came from England. It's still a different country.
Yeah.
We had Johannes here in the last interview on the sofa, and that's a big change coming from Finland to Ireland. But still, you're coming from England. So how have you found it?
I think it definitely helped when I went on loan to Scotland. I think that obviously helped because it's moving home as well, moving far away. I was there for 6 months, so that obviously helped me coming here, having that experience behind me. But like you said, it's still a big jump moving away from home at relatively young age, I'd say.
Was Scotland your first time away from?
Yeah, Scotland was my first time away. I was staying with actually a boy who I know was from Brighton, so obviously that helps me settle in as well. But that was my first time away from home, yeah.
Where did it start for you? So where did you start playing?
Started playing Sunday League, team called Selsdon Juniors, probably about 15 minutes from where I live in Croydon.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's where it all started. They ended up folding, so I ended up moving to a team called Whiteleaf and ended up getting scouted for Millwall under 13, going there for 8 weeks.
Right, okay.
8 weeks on trial there. And then ended up getting signed for Millwall on the 13s.
So you went through the academy at Millwall?
Yeah, I went through the academy all the way up to, ended up making my first team appearance in 2020. And so I was there for just over 7 years. No, 8 years it would have been, 8 years.
Would they have been a club growing up?
Millwall? No.
Just Liverpool, was it?
Liverpool, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Only because my dad's a Liverpool fan, yeah. Everyone says, where does that come from? Well, it's because my dad was a Liverpool fan.
Right, where does the surname come from? Because it's the most non-English surname.
So, I'm sure you have a bit of German in me. Yeah.
Right, okay.
I actually have a bit of German in me, so that's where that comes from.
I'd say that was good crack in the school, over the years.
Every time we get a corner, they just say, put Muller on it. Every time, every club I've been at.
That's essentially, you should have taken 13.
Yeah.
13 Muller. Could have been a wee market. Brothers or sisters?
2 brothers, I'm the middle one. One's about to be 17, and I think the other one's 24. I'm not even sure.
Right, okay.
He's going to be watching this as well. I think he's 24. Yeah.
Is he both of them play?
My younger one does. My older one doesn't.
Right, so
my younger one actually went on trial at Millwall when he was younger. I think he was very close to signing for them, but he wants an easy life. He don't want to work. He's seen what I've had to do to get it.
I can imagine the comments and they coming in. So what was Millwall like?
No, they were a good academy. Yeah, they got very good staff members. Obviously, they developed me into the player I am today, so I have to thank them for that. But no, they're a very good club.
Yeah,
they are a good club. To be fair.
There used to be a reputation in the 70s and 80s, the den and
it's still like
place to go. Is it
it's still very. They have a very good home record this season as well, and that's because of that. It's a very hostile place to go. So, and if like you're playing for the opposition team, it's not somewhere you'd want to go every week. Yeah.
Still hostile.
It's still a very hard place to get 3 points from. Yeah.
What was it like breaking in? I think his major debut as an 18-year-old. Yeah. 18-year-old in the final day of the season.
Come on as a right back against Huddersfield, and we ended up winning 4-1. It was good, but obviously it would have been better without. It was COVID at the time, so it would have been better with the fans there. But it was still a great experience, obviously, coming on the championship. I thought I'd done well as well. I played all right that game. It was good that we won 4-1 as well, just to stop it off.
Yeah. Just looking at following season, 3 appearances. Were you hoping to kick on after that?
So
that was the last game of the 1920 season, so you think you're going into pre-season next year thinking I've had a taste of one.
Yeah, so I actually spoke to the guy for that pre-season. He said he's looking to like kind of break me into the first team that season and get a few more appearances than they actually did get in. But I think the team that year were kind of struggling, so it was hard to get in the team as a young player. Did make him 3 appearances towards the end of it. And then the following season, I think it was the following pre-season, I went on loan to Scotland. So that was just to kind of get minutes as well, sort of thing.
Is it tough for the championship club?
Yeah, it is tough. There's obviously a lot of good players in Millwall, and as a young player, it's kind of hard to break through. But no, I felt like I would have been good enough. Had I been given more of a chance, but it's easy to say that now.
Yeah. You mentioned Scotland, obviously up the St Johnstone. I think they liked you up there.
Yeah.
Some of the
I liked it.
Callum Davidson. He was the assistant manager, I think.
Yeah, that's how Callum actually knew me. He was the assistant of Gary Rowett when I made my debut, actually, he was. And then he got the job after that. But that's how Callum knew me.
Yeah. How did you find your time up there?
I started off really well. I was playing most games. And then they had a few injuries. We lost a few games as well. So the manager was under a bit of pressure. But I felt like I did well when I did play. It was just a good learning experience for a young player, definitely.
We've had it here, even last year, the likes of Nathan come over, Joe Adams, lads, Lewis McCarry. Like when you start playing men's football, and there's points at stake.
It's a lot different to the 23s environment.
I'm sure it takes time to adapt to that.
Yeah, and obviously everyone says it, and it's a cliche thing to say, but it genuinely is a lot different to a 23s environment. Like, there's pressure every week to get points because the manager's job's under pressure, the player's job's under pressure. Like, in 23s level, it's all about development still. But the first team, if you don't perform, then you're out of the team. So it takes some getting used to, and that's probably the biggest jump between men's football and kids football.
Yeah, good experience, I'm sure, as I say, living away from home and sort of growing up.
Yeah, obviously it does help you grow up as a man as well, I'd say. So obviously not having mum and dad around, and that's good. That's very good to get at a young age.
Yeah, can you cook?
Yeah, I actually learned to cook when I was away in Scotland.
That's
probably the best thing I got away from it.
Any of them in the house who don't cook? Do you want to name and shame them now?
No, our house is very good actually. Yeah, we all do our part. I'd say Greg's probably the dad of the house. He does the most of the cooking, but we all chip in.
It seems like a sensible house.
Yeah, it is
compared to Belfry.
Don't want to name who's in Belfry.
Yeah, exactly. Millwall. Sean Williams, of course, the link to Dundalk. I was reading. He made his debut in 2007. He would have been 5.
For Dundalk?
Yeah, when he was here. He was here when we were in the first division on loan.
Oh, was he?
And he was, I think it was...
On loan from who?
Drogheda United.
Yeah.
He was here for half a season and made a big impression. And he's obviously gone on to have a great career.
Yeah, he was one of the technically better players at Millwall as well. I know he's a bit older now, but I can imagine in his prime he would have been a very good player. And I bet he excelled here at Dundalk.
Did you speak to him? Did you?
I spoke to him once. Right. When I signed, the day I signed, he messaged me actually and just said good luck. And basically, he said there's a statue. He said there should be a statue outside on Dundalk Stadium for him. I'm assuming he done well.
It must be under the stairs there or something.
Under the car park.
No, unfortunately not, Sean. It's going to take more than a bit of a loan spell to get one of them. Looking at St Johnstone, they're in Europe.
Yeah.
When you were up there, were you involved in the squad?
I was in the squad for both games actually. They had
Galatasaray and Lask.
Yeah. So the Galatasaray game was on the bench in we got a draw 1-1. We done very well. It was unlucky not to get the win. They got their keeper sent off quite early on in the game. We ended up going 1-0 up for a penalty, and then they got it back to 1-0. But we done really well in that. Obviously, Galatasaray's a hot place to go.
Was there a crowd in it?
Yeah, there was a crowd in it. It was very different to what I'm used to.
Made Millwall look like a crash.
Yeah. It was very good. And then the home leg we lost 3-1. I was on the bench for that as well. And then the last game We drew 1-1 at their place as well. There was no crowd in that game because it was in Austria and it was something to do with like the COVID rules.
Different restrictions.
Yeah, different restrictions. And then at home we lost 2-1. So both sides are very close. Like it could have gone either way. But we did hold our own.
Looking forward to Europe in the summer.
Yeah.
There's a different feeling to it. It's just
everyone buzzes off it, doesn't it? Europe. It's just
the build up and the week leading up to it. It's just it's a different experience.
It's a different kind of buzz, isn't it? And obviously, going away from home into like hopefully what will be a hot country will be very good to play. It'll be a very good experience.
We'll probably end up in Wales. A couple of years ago.
Or Scotland.
Or Belfast. Just up the road. We won't even have to get a plane. Was that a big sort of decision? Did you look and think when League of Ireland's brought up, and you can be honest, like I'm sure a lot of people have to look up what's the league about, what's the club about, but then you see they're in Europe.
So obviously when I first heard about Dundalk, they were probably the only club. Them and Rovers were probably the only two clubs I actually knew about. Yeah. Not that I knew a lot about them, but I actually knew of them. Obviously because I was in the Europa League and things like that. And then obviously once I looked into Ireland and saw that they can qualify for Europe, it was like it does have a lot of pull behind it.
Yeah, it is something you just don't.
Because in England, if you're not in the Premier League, there's no chance you're getting it.
There's a slim window.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if we do end up qualifying for the group stage, that'll be some achievement.
Yeah, it'd be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Looking up your time, St Johnson, John Hartson had a nice sort of. Yeah. It got a lot of attention. How did that? You give away a penalty against Rangers, and he said something like beefy, having a pop at you. But how did that? Because I'm sure that was your first time sort of negative headlines and stuff like that thrown at you. How did that?
It was probably the first time I've been in the sport like that for a bad reason. But with things like that, I tend to just because people are going to say good and bad things, so you can't moan at one person for saying a bad opinion, then agree with the other person just because they have a good opinion on you. So I take all of it with a pinch of salt. Even if he said I was the best player in the world, it doesn't mean his opinion is valid. So I didn't really let it get to me, to be fair.
Do you find, even over the run we had over the last couple of weeks, do you stay off social media, try not to... I'm
not one that stays off it, or I don't really go out my way to look at things as well. But if I do find something, I'll read it. If it's about me, I'll take it on board. But sometimes, everyone's going to have an opinion. So you can't look at everything and you can't look at everything. And you can have an opinion on it, but it doesn't mean so much because it's just the fan talking at the end of the day.
I tweeted earlier on the season you were booked.
Yeah.
I think your mum...
Yeah, my mum and dad... My mum and dad are actually worse than me for things like that. Yeah. I'm actually more relaxed than them about things like that. But she was texting me after the game saying, he wasn't booked twice. I had to get on to you.
That was a lesson there.
Yeah.
Lesson there. I'm sure...
Change that tweet as soon as possible.
Is a part of it, for young lads, he's just expected now because I'm sort of a different generation where... I'd be looking at sometimes jeez, what's going on here? But do you just get used to it?
I suppose because we've grown up in the era of social media, it's something that myself have been used to. But like you said, I can imagine for the older players, it's probably a bit newer to them. But yeah, something that I'm going to have to get used to if I want to have a good career anyway. Because football players are always under the spotlight for loads of different things. So it's something I'm going to have to get used to.
Yeah. Your loan was cut short because it was a 12-month and you went back.
It was ended up being a 6-month.
What was your feeling going back? Were you disappointed to leave St Johnson or thinking right, I'll go back and
I'd say it was probably mixed emotions because I had the chat with Callum and he said he wanted to extend it for another 6 months and keep me till the end of the season. So I came home for Christmas because there was a little break because of COVID, thinking I'm going to go up there, go there for 6 months for the last part of the season and play games. So I was kind of looking forward to it. And I think Millwall got a couple of injuries. So 2 weeks into it, I got the text saying Millwall recalling me. So I was kind of disappointed because I knew that I would have played more for St Johnstone. But going back to Millwall in my head, thinking I could actually get a chance here. And I ended up getting on the bench a few times, but I don't think I came on towards the end of the season, which was disappointing.
Yeah.
But obviously, it just showed that I needed to play more football and get more experience.
Did you go back into 23s then? Is that
I went back to the 23s.
Well, what's that like coming from?
It's difficult. Yeah. It's difficult. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's difficult going, like you said, playing against Rangers and things like that. So then playing 23s game, it is harder to get up for them sort of games. But as a professional, obviously, you just have to do it. There's just no other option really.
When did you know your time was sort of up?
What, Mill?
Yeah.
I'd say the last few months of that season. Yeah, and then obviously I didn't get a loan in the summer after and pre-season, which was annoying because if I would have got a decent loan, I maybe could have kicked on there.
Yeah.
But I ended up playing 23s for that sort of year from January to December, and then obviously Dundalk got in contact with me, which was something I needed.
Out of the blue, was it League of Ireland? Was that?
It was out of the blue. Yeah, it
something
was
you never ever considered, or until that call.
Until that call came, it was something I never considered. Just because I didn't really know what the level was like. To be fair, obviously a lot of people have their opinions on it, but when it came, I looked into it more. I spoke to my agent about the deal, and the more I looked into it, the more appealing it became.
Spoke to the gaffer.
Yeah.
Persuasive, isn't it?
Yeah, very persuasive. Him and Garts, actually. Garts is very persuasive as well. But yeah, the more they said, the more I liked it. And then obviously I flew out here to have a look at the training ground and stuff, get used to it, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah. How have you found it? Because the first round of games are over. We're going into the second sort of series. You played in 9, I think, of the 10. So it's only the one the Rovers game you're suspended. So you've had a good look at it now. Played everybody. What's your assessment of it?
Harder than I thought.
Yeah,
harder than I thought, to be honest. And I think quite a few of the boys have said that. Louis said the same thing. Connor said the same thing. But I can only look at that as a good thing because obviously it's challenging us week in, week out to get better. And we're only going to get better as a team, I feel like, because we've got quite a few new players as well. It's going to take a bit of time to gel. But I think we've shown in glimpses how good we really are, like the Pats game, for example. The second half the other day, I thought we played really well against Derry. But yeah, like the gaffer said, it's going to take time for us to gel. And once we do click, I think we'll become a really strong force.
Yeah. It's physical. It's intense.
Yeah, very intense. I think, like I said, the biggest jump between 23s and first team is the 3 points thing and also the physicality of the game. It's a lot harder playing against 30-year-old strikers like Pat Hooban and players like that. You don't really get that at 23s level.
Yeah. It was a disappointing run we were on, but Sunday gives everybody a bit of... It was frustrating not to win the game.
Yeah.
I think the second half performance was...
Yeah. I think that's what the gaffer puts emphasis on as well, the way we perform. Because if we perform like that every game, 9 times out of 10 we're going to win. So that's what the gaffer really tries to get into us, like to get the performance right, and then the results will take care of themselves, sort of thing.
Have you ever seen a league table as crazy as the one here?
Oh, you can't predict any of the results, can you? I was actually talking to my dad about it the other day, and Shells are 2-0 up against Rovers. They ended up drawing 2-2, but it's very good though, because it means that anyone, as soon as you put a run together, anyone could go top.
Yeah. You say it's a new group. It is going to take time.
Yeah.
People don't like hearing that, but that's
it's the fact of the matter. Yeah.
As you say, you can see it in glimpses. And it's just a matter of getting a consistent performance now.
Yeah, obviously we hope it doesn't take time. Like anything, you don't like we can come in within the first couple of games, we gel, we're the best team in the league. But I don't think it quite works like that, especially with the level of the league is at now. Like it's like you said, it's a very good league. It's tough, but like you said, when we do gel, I think we'll be a very good team.
Yeah, played in a couple of positions, centre half the last couple of games. Is that your?
I prefer centre half myself. But growing up, I've always been able to play
midfield. It seems,
holding midfield, centre half. Those 3 positions. I don't really mind any of them, but if I was to pick one, it'd probably be centre.
Who did you want to be when you were growing up?
Steven Gerrard.
It's just getting worse. Steven Gerrard. Wait a minute here, Hayden. I'll leave it in. Well, while suspended, and obviously we don't know what Andy is.
Yeah.
You know, Dara did very well coming in there. It's a chance for you, and obviously Louis on his way back from injury or from illness. It's a chance for you to get in there and sort of stake a claim.
Yeah, definitely. No matter who's fit, to be honest, it's a chance to, if you're playing, it's a chance to stay in the team. Obviously, with the injuries, it's going to make it tough for the lads to get a result. But for myself personally, like you said, it's a chance for me to impress the gaffer and show him that I can be an important part of his team moving forward throughout the season, and just basically keep my place in the starting lineup. Yeah,
Shell's Friday night up in Talca Park. It's your first visit up there. It's a tough place to go. I'm sure you've been told that.
Yeah, Shells. I got a glimpse of them the other day, didn't I, with a red card? But,
I didn't want to mention it.
No, I don't mind it.
But that's frustrating, though, that because obviously you're suspended then for the Rovers game.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get into a rhythm.
It was annoying, obviously. It was a mistake that should have happened, but I ended up getting a good look at them anyway because I watched the game, and it'll be a tough team. It'll be a good challenge for the lads, but if we can play anything how we did the other day, anything like that, then I think we'll get a good result. Because we haven't got the quality to turn them over. We just need to go there and be as aggressive as we was as a team the other day and play on the front foot.
That's the things just build on.
Build on
the second half in particular.
Definitely. And I think if we've trained well today, if we train well tomorrow, we're going to go into the game with a lot of confidence and hopefully get a result.
Yeah, please God.
Hopefully.
Thanks for joining me, Hayden. I really appreciate it. Last question. England, if you had a choice, England or Germany, who do you play with?
Oh, England all day long. England all day long.
Yeah, not even up for debate.
Nah. That's if I get called up for any of them.
Yeah,
But,
if Andy's watching, he's going to go for England. It's Kate's watching, you go for England.
England are a better team now anyway. Maybe 5 years ago I would have said Germany.
I was going to say that, yeah. Things have fairly changed in the last couple of years.
But no, yeah, it'd be England for me. Although I wouldn't mind going to Germany.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Come here, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Nice to have you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for joining in. Tickets now are on sale for Friday night on the club website for Talca Park. The game will also be shown live on RT2 national TV.
Yeah.
Have you been on? I'm sure you've games in Scotland.
Sky Sports. One, the Rangers game was on Sky Sports. That was just the one,
yeah. Family been over for a couple of games?
Yeah. They've been over for 2 of the games, and I think they're coming next week to the Drogs game.
Oh, the derby.
Yeah, the derby game. That'll be a good one.
Good stuff.
Hopefully get the win.
Yeah. As I say, tickets on sale now. The game will be broadcast live on RT2 on Thursday night, on Friday night. Hopefully we see a good crowd at Talca Park. And as Hayden says, we build on last Sunday's encouraging performance against Derry City. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks again to our sponsors BetRegal for their sponsorship. We'll see you again next week.